What's up, everybody? My name is Sam Durn. If you guys are new, make sure you leave a friend comment down below, like, subscribe, and turn your post notification bells on. Thank you guys for supporting my channel, and thank you guys for supporting me, and thank you guys for helping me out, almost reaching 300 subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. I love when you guys comment and sweet comments and all of that. I love replying to you and leaving loves and on your comments. You guys are the best. I'm glad you guys show me all the support that you guys have. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. I love you guys. So today, guess what I'm gonna be reacting to? I'm gonna be, having my lunch watching this video with you guys. So I'm having a breakfast burritos for lunch and 2 cranberry juices. So let's get this video on the roll. It's gonna be 3 chilling chat room horror stories. No sleep. Let's go. This is funny anyway. This makes me laugh. So let's go.
Number 1.
Game off star is typing.
Is anyone else bored? I don't want to play Gmod anymore. And I don't want to play 4 more hours of Battlefield 1.
JRev13 is typing.
Nah, man. I'm having fun. It's just you.
LMI Legend is typing.
Yeah, I'm bored too. Let's go do some other shit. I leaned back in my chair and closed my eyes. It was 4 a.m. and I had school tomorrow. My friends finally convinced me to pull an all-night gaming marathon. I sighed, knowing that I would regret this in the morning, and finally forced myself to open my eyes. You guys are fucking weird then. We gotta pass the time somehow. We got like 2.5 hours left until school. What do you guys suggest? Hey, how about World of Tanks? I thought about it for a second, but World of Tanks was really not my type of game. If anything, I wanted to play some Rainbow Six Siege, but nobody else in my group liked it. They thought it was really slow-paced and wasn't a lot of fun. Yeah, no, fuck World of Tanks. Too gritty anyways, and not fun enough to grind for good tanks. Yeah, man, I guess I can agree with that. Hey, can we start a group poll or something? I'm sick of typing. Hell no. My ears hurt from wearing this headset for 8 hours, and I don't want to hear you guys talking into it. I just want to play. Sound off, KK?
Martin has joined this room.
Who the fuck is Martin? I got no clue. Who invited him? Yeah, not me. Hey, Martin, who the fuck are you?
Martin is typing.
Hello, friend.
Alright, which one of you guys is using an alternate account? I'm not prone to spooks. Good effort, though. Hey, man, I'm not doing it. Yeah, same here. Kick him, maybe? Yeah, I got it. I place my hand on the mouse and click on Martin's name. What came up was a profile with no name, bio, and a solid black profile picture. Scrolling down, I discovered that the account had only been made a few days before. Okay, seriously, who the fuck is doing it? The account was made like a few days ago. Don't try and fuck with me. It's not me, man. Hey, just kick him already, and let's go play something. Alright, but if you're fucking with me, tell me tomorrow. I'm really curious to see which one of you guys did it. I right-clicked on Martin and multiple options came up. I clicked on kick, and clicked out of the menu. Okay, he should be gone now. That was fucking strange. It was probably Legend though, man. He's a dick like that.
Martin is typing.
What the fuck is going on? Seriously, it's one of you. And if you don't tell me, I'll kick you. I promise.
Group call started.
I nearly fell out of my chair, not realizing that my speakers were actually not muted. The sudden ring caught me off guard. I quickly hit mute on the speakers and turned back to the screen.
Martin, LMI Legend, plus one other person are calling.
I was starting to worry. This was just too bizarre to ignore. I tried kicking Martin again, but it didn't work. Confused, I looked at the call pop-up. Whoever this was, I decided that I should at least play along for now. I moved the mouse over to the green pickup call button and clicked. The text to the chat room was replaced by the call screen, showing the profile picture of my two friends, along with the solid black profile picture that this Martin guy had. I quickly plugged in my headphones and put them on. Breathing. The sound of someone breathing into their microphone was what I was greeted with. When I put on my headphones, it was extremely loud, like the person had the microphone right up to their mouth. The microphone clearly did not have a pop filter, as the breathing came out loud and distorted. I quickly turned down my volume, as the breathing was beginning to hurt my head. In the background, I heard both of my friends talking, but I simply could not make out what they were saying. After a little while, both of my friends hung up. Putting my hand on the mouse, I began moving it towards the red hang up button, but I was interrupted by a sudden change on my screen. The solid black square of a profile picture was replaced with a loading icon. This Martin person was turning on their camera. Now here's something that you need to know about me. I'm the type of asshole who has to be skeptical about everything. Whenever I see something on the internet that I simply doubt, I will ask questions. If somebody shows me a supposedly haunted video, I usually just end up laughing and counter it with simple logic. However, what I saw was something completely different. It was not a hoax or some asshole trying to joke around. What I saw was real. The loading icon disappeared and was replaced with an image. Black. That was the first thing I saw. Then, I saw a slight movement. As I examined the darkness more and more, I realized that I was seeing somebody walking. At first, I wasn't sure where, but then I saw grass. It wasn't very visible, but I saw it. Suddenly, the darkness was replaced by a bright light. The person walking had just turned on a flashlight. I looked closely and saw grass, as well as a tree in the distance. The person then turned around, and my blood ran cold with terror. I realized exactly where the man was. When he turned around, he pointed the camera at a house. It was pitch black, except for a single bright and slightly yellow glow coming from the second floor window. Right next to the man was my father's grill, with folding chairs placed around it. To the far right of the house, I saw the small garden shed that we had, specifically used for storing tools. The man was standing in my backyard. I leapt out of my chair and ran downstairs to make sure both the front and back doors were locked. Realizing that they were, I ran back upstairs and looked at my screen. Scrolled down past the countless messages of my friends, asking me if I was okay or if I was asleep, to see a single message from Martin.
I go in now.
Jerking away from the computer screen, I looked to the single window in my room, overlooking the backyard. My backyard was mostly empty, with almost nothing but a tree in the middle. On the tree stood a man, a very tall yet thin man. This man was wearing almost nothing, other than some tore-up jeans and a shirt. He must have triggered the motion sensor garden lights, as the whole garden was now lit up. I could see almost every detail, and what I saw terrified me. The man was crouching on a branch, with a crazed spark in his eyes. His mouth was now stretched into a wide, insane grin, and I could see his horrible, rotten yellow teeth. In his hand, he held a mobile phone and a flashlight. Suddenly, he tossed the flashlight and his phone to the side. He leapt down off the tree and towards the back door of the house. I heard loud banging noises and what sounded like wailing coming from downstairs. My parents burst through my door, asking me what the hell was going on. My younger brother stood by their side, grasping at my father's leg. I didn't know what to say, so I just told them that there was a man downstairs trying to get in. They rushed downstairs and told me to lock my brother in the upstairs bathroom. Holding my brother's hand, we walked together towards the bathroom, closing and locking the door. I sprinted downstairs towards the back door and almost vomited. The insane man was dragging the body of my father along the ground. If it wasn't for my mother's nightgown, I wouldn't have realized what the red pile near the door was. That bloody pile of skin and meat was my mother. I screamed and locked the back door, only to see the insane man dash towards the door on all fours through the door's window. Stumbling back in fear, I ran to the upstairs bathroom and asked my brother to unlock the door. He complied, and I rushed in, locking it behind me. I have been sitting in this damned bathroom for hours, with nothing but my brother and my laptop. My little brother keeps telling me that he's hungry. I don't know if I can take much more of this, but starving to death seems better than confronting that monster. My laptop is almost dead now, and I don't know what to do. A few hours back, I heard the sound of a window sliding open, and for the last hour I've been hearing this insane babbling, as well as the sound of footsteps, and it sounds as if this thing is running all over the house, crawling all over the walls, looking for us. The worst part is 5 minutes ago it all stopped. I no longer heard footsteps or the insane babbling. The banging is gone as well. The worst part is that deep down, I want those sounds to come back, because anything is better than listening to this thing sit patiently outside my door, breathing and scratching at the handle.
Number 2.
Let me set the scene. The year is 1998. Monica Lewinsky has denied that she fucked the president, and the euro is created. I was of the age of 14, sitting on my parents' desktop PC, using god-awful dial-up internet to research the history of William the Conqueror's harrying of the North, when my friend, who for the purposes of this story shall be called Jake, messaged me on IRC. Hey, some dude at school told me something really cool you can do on your PC. What? I asked. 1. Open up Start. 2. Go to Run. 3. Enter 2ndrely2.frt. 4. Tell me when you're done. I did what he told me. What opened up looked like some type of command prompt. It had 2 boxes that text should be entered into, and a regular command line. Done, I informed him. In the box, write your name. In the second, write a password. And in the other bit, write rtileoh.us. I did exactly what I was told, and a box telling me to enter a nickname popped up. I wrote Tom Elton. The window closed. A few moments later, a batch file opened that said, "Welcome to the Artile, Ohio chat room. User Tom Elton has joined." I spent the next few months talking to my friends on that chat room. I had no idea who created it or hosted it. It seemed to only work in the Artile, Ohio area, meaning I could talk to anyone there in theory. The only people who were there was me, Jake, and a couple of other people I was friends with. Someone from the preparatory school across town, and once, somebody who claimed to work for the insurance company's tech support, who left after the only response he got was, "What school you at?" I don't know why we used this instead of a normal chat room. Maybe the whole secret gathering aspect of it made us more drawn to it. I don't know for sure. I woke up one fall morning and checked the chat room and found out that I had been promoted to an administrator. I had no idea who did it, but I got to brag to my friends for the next few days and change what people were typing to make them look dumb. But other than that, my powers went unused, until one day, I logged on to see that the anonymous messages to admins was not empty for a change. I wish I didn't check to see what was there. It was a full story from a user called 09HDI7RF, written in multiple single-sentence messages. They described how they were being physically and sexually abused by their parents, how they weren't allowed to go outside the house, and how she snuck into her dad's computer and saw this chat room open, and decided to tell anybody she could. Well, I assumed it was one of my friends fucking with me. I responded with, "Who is this? Also, if this was real, you would have called the cops, retard." Later that day, the chat room stopped working. I couldn't get it to work at all. I got an error message every time I searched the command on my PC's run feature. I was royally pissed off with the fact that me and my friend's secret hidey hole was now dead. 2 days later, what do I see in the news? Girl shot dead by her father after breaking out of her home through a window. The mother was in police custody, but the father was never caught. The family's PC contains documents describing kids named Jake, Tom, and others, describing what he imagined their appearance to be and what he would do to them if he ever found them, which was too horrific to describe here. That man was never caught, to my knowledge. He's still on the run today, hiding amongst everyone. I'm certain that he will never be caught.
Number 3.
This happened to me a few years ago, so sorry if I struggle to recall some of the details. I haven't shared this story with many people since college, so I figured it's time to get it off my chest. So here it goes. When I was growing up, there was no Dateline NBC or Chris Hansen to let us know of the dangers of meeting people you spoke to online. There was no one who would speak at assemblies about cyberbullying, or health teachers talking about masturbation and pornography. The internet was relatively new, and everyone was discovering the perils of it as they went along. I was no different. There was no huge social media websites like MySpace or Facebook to connect with friends. So being the curious high school kids we were, we resorted to chat rooms to keep in touch while we were away. The biggest medium at the time being AIM, or AOL Instant Messenger. I was pretty tech savvy for a senior in high school, so it would come as no surprise that as college approached, I tried making more friends via chat room. I wasn't the most social guy in high school, so college to me was the chance for a fresh start. I also didn't have the best relationship with my parents, so I wanted to get as far away from them as I could. The only problem with that was that I didn't get the best grades when I was in high school, which meant that if I was going to get away from my hometown in Washington, I was going to have to settle, and the best college I could get into turned out to be Miami University in Ohio. It was small and not well respected, but it met my criteria perfectly for what I wanted from college: distance from my parents, and a degree. When I made my decision to go there, I searched through chat rooms and eventually stumbled upon one for incoming freshmen attending Miami U. They discussed everything from future professions to what you were having for lunch that day. I chatted with people there during the months leading up to college, but none stuck out more than Amanda Slaughter. Amanda was prettier, smarter, and more charming than anybody I had ever met while I was in high school. Not as many of them would have dated me anyways. The thing that really made her unique was that she seemed to actually want to be my friend. Unlike other girls I had encountered, I clung to her, and for some reason, I had the sudden urge to make becoming her friend my top priority for college. When I made my decision to go there, I would get home from school, get on AIM, and sit for hours at a time, waiting for Amanda to log in. We would make small talk for a while. We broke the ice, and then our conversations became more comfortable and romantic. As I learned more about Amanda, the more I wanted to date her, despite never having met her. She was 18, a natural blonde, played volleyball and ran track, loved heavy metal music, and our sense of humor was very similar. We would talk for hours every night throughout the summer of my senior year. One day right before I left for the small town of Oxford, I mustered up enough courage to ask her out on a date. She agreed, and I was ecstatic. She attended a local high school, and because of that, I was going to have to commute from class. We made plans, and on my third night at Miami University, I was going to pick her up from her house and take her to a local restaurant for dinner. I left for college a few days later, driving all the way from my hometown in Washington to Ohio in my beat-up pickup truck. I moved in and caught up on some much-needed sleep before starting classes. The first few days of college were long and filled with lots of mandatory events and meetings. It was boring, and to be honest, it was the last thing I wanted to do. However, the knowledge that at the end of the week, I was going to take Amanda on our first date made it all worth it. When the evening of our date finally arrived, I have to admit, I was the most nervous I had been in a long while. Not because I had never met Amanda or anything, it was because I had never been on a date before. I had scarcely talked to her on AIM since class started, and on that day, even when I got the time to talk, I got nervous and chickened out. The one time I talked to her was only to confirm plans and her address. Amanda's house, 7:30. Dress nice, don't be late. I couldn't tell you how many times I repeated that out loud throughout the day. I showered, put on the nicest clothes I had packed for college, and with nothing but my thoughts and a Slayer CD to accompany me, I got in my crappy truck to go pick up the girl of my dreams for our first date. I left my dorm around 7 a.m. She lived about 3 miles away from campus, but I didn't want to risk the chance of getting lost and showing up late. If you've ever been to Oxford, Ohio, you'll know that downtown Oxford is just like any typical college town. However, the noteworthy thing about Oxford is that you drive about a mile or two off campus, the town quickly transitions from a college town to a rural farm town, with nothing but acres of corn to separate the houses from each other. I found her house after a few minutes of searching. On either side of her yard were several rows of corn, and in between the two rows was a long, poorly lit gravel driveway that led to an old red barn. To the right of the barn was a 2-story home that Amanda lived in, and if it wasn't for the lonesome light on the porch, I wouldn't have been able to see any of it. When I say that her driveway was long, I mean it was roughly about 3/4 of a mile. The only sounds I could hear as I drove were crickets and pieces of gravel crunching under my truck tires. About halfway through her driveway, the sound of the gravel was replaced by what sounded like driving through a swamp. I could feel my old pickup truck start to struggle through whatever we were driving on, and eventually it got stuck. I tried to move the truck for a minute or two, but it wouldn't budge. I hopped out to check to see what was going on. My wheels had become stuck in a patch of mud, and since I didn't have 4-wheel drive, I couldn't get out. It hadn't rained since I'd moved there, so it must have poured down right before I arrived in town. I contemplated on walking back to campus out of sheer embarrassment, but I swallowed my pride and walked the rest of her lengthy driveway and stepped onto her porch. I knocked 3 times on the door, and nobody answered. I was about to knock again when the door opened. A 40-ish-year-old man stood there, tall, bearded, and slightly overweight, and looked a bit tired and clammy. Sorry to bother you, but is Amanda home?
Yes, Amanda is here. She's upstairs getting ready. You can come in if you'd like.
Well, you see, I got my truck stuck in your driveway, so I think I'm just gonna wait out here for her, and maybe try to get it out again.
That's not a problem. If you come inside, Amanda will be down in just a second, and we can all go and move your truck. I actually have a truck of my own in the barn. I can help tow you out if you'd like.
It's okay. I'll just wait by my car. Just send Amanda out whenever she's ready. I started to walk back to my car, and the beginnings of frustration were starting to set in. How the hell could I get my truck stuck the first time I meet Amanda? She's not even going to want to hang out with me after the way this night is going. I arrived at my car to figure out where exactly my tires were stuck, so I could formulate a strategy on getting the damn truck out before my date walks over. I crouch down and look at my front tires first. They're stuck in about 6 inches of very watery mud, but nothing seemed off about it. I couldn't quite figure out what it was. I got up to walk around my truck when I noticed something that made my stomach drop. There was hay, lots and lots of hay, in and around the mud hole my truck was stuck in. My frustration turned into fear as I contemplated what my next move should be. I didn't have a cell phone, so I couldn't call the police or a tow truck. There wasn't a building for miles I could run to. I figured my best option was to try to play it cool with the man, because who knew? Amanda could still be inside getting ready, and this just could be a hiccup in an awesome relationship. I walked back to the house, knocked on the door again, and the same man answered. Hi. Do you know how much longer Amanda will be? Because if she's not ready, I'm going to call a tow truck.
No, there's no need for a tow truck. Amanda should be down any second. Amanda, your friend is at the door. Now if you just step inside, she'll be right out.
It's really okay, sir. I'm just gonna call a tow truck. Just tell Amanda that.
She'll be down in just a second if you wait. I can tow your truck. Now, if you'll just follow me to my barn, we can get my truck and you'll be out in a jiffy.
The man took a step towards me, and I panicked. I ran, sprinting as fast as I could, through the man's yard and into the cornfield. I ran faster than I had ever run before in my entire life, adrenaline pumping and heart racing. I ran all the way through the cornfield, which took about 20 minutes, and ended up on a road that led back to campus. I walked all the way back to my dorm, unlocked the door. Luckily, I had my keys in my pocket, and walked inside. My roommate wasn't home yet, so I locked the door behind me, quickly undressed, and passed out on my bed. The next day, I called a tow truck and the police to file a report. I told them everything that happened, with the truck and the man, and how I ran away. They told me that I was not the first person to be deceived by that man, and how there were multiple other incidents of people going to that house, getting scared, and running away or driving off. They said that since he hadn't actually harmed anybody, they couldn't file a report on the incident. It was frustrating, but they were right. I hadn't been hurt or killed. I hadn't been harmed or had any damage done to my car. I had only been creeped out. The next day I got my truck back after using most of my money on a tow. I didn't get back on AIM because the whole situation was just too freaky for me to even want to talk to Amanda again. I just wanted to forget about the whole thing and have everything return to a state of normality. My roommate came back to our dorm eventually. Apparently he went home for the weekend and was confused as to why my truck was covered in mud. I sighed and explained to him the whole scenario. From me first talking to Amanda, to going over her house, to trying to file the police report. After I finished explaining, he started to laugh.
You're shitting me, right?
No, why would I be? Did you not see my truck? Why would I make this up?
Don't you get it? Dude, you tried to meet a girl named Amanda Slaughter. Get it? A man to slaughter.
I see why chat rooms have such a bad reputation now.
There's always a reason to be afraid.
So, if you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and comment down below. Make sure you leave a friend comment down below. Make sure you turn your post notification bells on. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day, guys. Bye.